a bunch of outcasts. That's what improv is. It's all nerds that got picked on when they were growing up.
They may have not been the loudest.
Very asocial or sometimes very socially awkward.
People are looking for a place to kind of call their own.
I don't feel as much like an outsider.
I think we used to call UCB like the island of lost toys.
The unique nerd kingdom.
Adult children.
White mid-20s dudes wearing Converse and Western snap shirts.
People who don't want to get real jobs.
Generally, I think it's collaborative people.
You have to be a good listener.
I mean, you can't be a total dick and do what we do. You'll get kicked out of every team. You won't be able to do a scene. So I think niceness is something that I notice.
Some of my favorite improvisers are very kind, outgoing people.
It attracts a type of hyper-intellectual.
Funny people, like naturally funny people.
People that like to be goofy and silly and act up.
Wise asses, smart nerds.
It's people who are really vehemently into it. It's comedy nerds.
You become obsessed with it.
Thank you everyone for coming out. We are John Velvet. All we need is a word to get started.
Yes.
All right, okay, over here. Game Boy. Game Boy, thank you, sir. John Velvet is a Herald team at UCB. So we all auditioned and were put together to perform most Monday nights here at the theater. And we do a form called the Herald.
The Herald is a long-form improvisation invented by Del Close.
And brought to New York and LA by the UCB4, Matt Batt, Matt Walsh, Ian Robbins, and Amy Poehler.
Did I sweat it off?
Yeah, there's a little sweat in the middle.
Where you take one suggestion and you explore it in a very thematic way.
It's not like, okay, sing a song in Chinese, or okay, dub this movie.
One suggestion provides the inspiration for an entire show.
There's 3 scenes going on, and then there's 3 different chapters of those scenes. And then in the third act, you kind of try to wrap everything up together.
Or you can use the visual example of taking a ball or something and pouring like paint over it, and you can see like there's one point where all the information begins and then it just kind of goes everywhere, but at the bottom of the ball it sort of comes back together.
I think the most common way that you would see a Herald a lot is in like shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm. They set up like 3 little games and then they keep on heightening throughout the episode, and a lot of times they all merge at the end of the episode.
Anyway, who's ready for Herald Night?
I don't think there's as much of a kind of general public awareness to improvising the way that we do here at UCB or at other, long-form based theaters.
It hasn't been on TV a lot, so people see it live a lot, but I think a common misconception is like, oh, improv. I'm going to give you a style and you're going to rewind that scene and do it like Woody Allen, or I'm going to give you a song style and you're going to freestyle rap like Wayne Brady or something.
When I saw UCB, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know improv could be like that. And I feel like a lot of people who see improv at UCB also have that revelation. Like, oh, this is actually cool and funny, and it's not like a sanitized, like squeaky clean kind of, we all wear matching shirts kind of thing.
We're big on playing the top of your intelligence, like be smart, but also play it real.
Like the more realistic a character is in the scene, the funnier it's going to be. Like if we already have something completely fucking insane, we don't need another insane character dealing with that. We want to see how a real person would deal with that.
Is it a true thing, or is this like Dad died in the Titanic? Because I am not 100 years old. I'm not. I know I'm not. It was the Titanic.
I think it might have been a knockoff Titanic, which is why it was so easily sunk.
The most overwhelming comedy term I think that comes up when working with the UCB is the game. What is the game?
And the game of the scene is basically the dynamic comic engine or structure of a scene that continues to make it funny, and it's the thing you focus on, and it's basically the ball you want to keep up in the air.
But I always think of it as like, what is the pattern of the scene, like, and how can I heighten that pattern?
I feel the best games are the ones that come up organically and that are discovered together.
We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing. We have a little bit of a better idea. Have a little bit of a better idea, and then, oh wait, it's this. Holy shit. Oh my God, 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 at it.
If the person, is an employee at a job and he has a habit of bringing like horrible lunches to work, well, we heighten that game by, okay, he brought in horrible lunch again. Jennifer, your lunches always stink. Okay, so then the next day she brings in like her dog. Okay, and so of course, why'd you bring in your dog, Jennifer? It stinks. Okay, and then in the most heightened version, she brings in like a friend who passed away. Hey, why'd you bring in your dead friend, Jennifer? Okay, so that's my example.
And the game is something that I use in writing, I use on stage, I use all the time.
I also feel like when I'm writing, I'll be like, what's the game of the scene? If you figure out what the game is, and it's sort of hard to figure that out, you got to play that game and you got to play it out.
Anything from Seinfeld to Pitch Perfect, there's always games going on. Every character has a game, and I think that Del Close was able to kind of bridge that gap and say, oh, let's just improvise within this structure.
Welcome back from Iraq, man. You look strong. You look big.
Thanks, man. Yeah. It's scary, but it's great to be back, you know?
Can I ask you something? Yeah, man, for sure. What'd you guys have for lunch? Did you guys eat good?
No, we didn't eat good. That's the only question you have? I was gone in Iraq for 2.5 years. I only have one arm.
Well, here's the thing, man. I mean, I've seen Jarhead, I've seen Full Metal Jacket. All those movies show me what it's like on the battlefield, but like, what'd y'all have for lunch?
What's amazing to me about improv is that you can go on stage without any idea of what the scene is, and then you can spontaneously create something.
When it's done, it's literally done. There's no going back to it. There's no ideas for that hour. That was the show that that's the contract between the audience and us, the performers. For this hour, we're gonna do this thing which will otherwise never exist.
Special to that one audience, and then it's gone forever. It's disposable comedy.
Everyone feels on this journey together, and everyone's having this experience together because the performers don't know what's going to happen and the audience doesn't know, and as opposed to a play where the actors know the story, so you don't feel that sense of danger because you feel like things will go right.
You can't manufacture discovery.
And you make something much better with the group mind than you could never create on your own. And I think that's the thing you're always chasing, that high of like, can you believe I said this and you finished my sentence and it all came together? It's like that magic moment when it happens is very satisfying.
But it is kind of magical.
There's that magical feeling.
It really does feel like magic. That same magic that I felt like when I watched it, that when I'm performing, it's the same thing. You go like, how did we just do that?
Everybody gets like a small little jolt of electricity to be like, ooh, it's happening. That thing, that awesome thing is happening, and I get it, and it's funny, and they get it, and we're all in it. We're all guys, right? We all think this is funny, and that kind of moment is only possible when everybody in the room knows that this is unprepared.
Oh yeah, right here.
I have, in what I'm taking to be fantastic news, I can no longer eat an entire Domino's pizza.
And what I'm taking to be fantastic news, I can no longer eat an entire Domino's pizza.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Tony.
Tony, it's here.
I would say the thing that makes the best teams the best is the ability to work together as a team and as a unit.
It's just not one of us up there. It's a whole team, and I think that that's a mentality that UCB really gives you. Like, you succeed as a group, you fail as a group.
The best improv is selfless so that it is truly an ensemble piece.
I don't know how we got lucky enough to keep sort of big egos out of the whole formula, but I think that's a big part of it.
We're constantly relying on each other to make everything happen on the go.
If they really work well together, then they're a lot more fun to watch. And just when you can just tell watching it if a team has fun together or not.
I mean, it could be a technically sound herald, but at the end of the day, if we're having fun, they're having fun.
Earlier we did a scene that took place within a pillow fort, and I feel like that reminded me of being a kid in the sense that it's just a place to play with friends and that sort of silliness that I feel like as an adult I get very few opportunities to do. So I think it's just like kind of a way of keeping that alive and keeping that as part of my life.
My wife wants to come in the fort. Oh my God! I knew it was a woman.
Well, you can join us, I guess. We're just making a crank called the Kaiser Permanente.
We have lots of performers from Paul Scheer to Rob Riggle to Ed Helm who still come back and do a silly show for whatever audience shows up because they love the feeling of like, we got to pull it off tonight, no script, but I know I got my friends here. Let's see what happens.
I perform no matter what. The only time I can't perform at UCB is when I'm actually shooting and my shoot goes later than the show I have scheduled.
I have this corny thing, which I think that if the world played by the rules of improv, and I'm talking about the whole world, that everyone would just be drinking Coke and smelling roses.
It's just this great hodgepodge, this melting pot of all these interesting people from all over the place coming to do the same thing and to entertain people and to make people laugh and to make each other laugh. And I think that is like a very special place to be.